Hey everyone, and welcome to the second episode of Learn Russian through Song Lyrics. My name's Alex, and let's roll! Now, first of all, thank you very much for your reactions and feedback on our previous video, the Cheburashka one. We are very happy that you liked it. Today we're going to talk about the most famous Russian song, or at least one of the most famous Russian songs, the Kalinka one. We need to say here that Kalinka was long considered to be a folk song, народная песня. This, in fact, is not true. It was originally composed in the second half of the 19th century by conductor Ivan Larionov for a play in the city of Saratov. And then later on it was made popular in the 20th century by a different conductor, conductor of the famous Alexandrov ensemble, Alexander Alexandrov, and then from that it became truly a wonder of our culture. The song actually has a chorus that you already know, and 3 verses. And I know that you may be surprised now, what kind of verses, you've never heard of them, but they exist, and we're going to talk about them as well. Without further ado, let's break down the chorus of the song. The first conundrum here is the titular word itself, Kalinka or Kalina. I found different translations for this word. The Latin name is viburnum, there's also the guelder rose, the red snowball tree, and many others. But let's just agree to see it as a tree that produces berries that are good for you. In Russian, if you look at the names of berries, you will find the suffix in many other ones as well. Smarodina, malina, and so on and so forth. So it's quite a productive model. If in English we add berry, in Russian we will probably use in or ina. So here in the chorus we have 2 types of berries. We have kalina and malina, so viburnum and raspberry, once again. And if you look at them closely, you'll see that they also have ink, kalinka and malinka. And what is that about? In Russian, that's another addition to the word that makes it sound as little and cute. So Kalinka is a cute little Kalina. Malinka is a cute little Malina. Right. So if we translate the chorus from start to finish, we will find out that Kalina and Malina, they are в саду, or in the garden, and that they are both mine, Kalinka моя, Malinka моя. We will talk a little bit more about the personal pronouns here, about the forms of mine in Russian language, and we will also talk about cases as well. So here, в саду is a prepositional case, в чем-то, in something. We'll see that again and again over the course of the song, and I will comment on that so that you, hopefully by the end, will be more familiar with the concept. Oh, and I almost forgot the word yagoda, berry, so there's that. That's the chorus. It's very simple, it's very short, but it's also very, very memorable. So here it is. And now let's move to the first verse of the song. So here again, right off the bat, we have a prepositional case. In Russian, that sounds like предложенный падеж, by the way, and 2 very similar constructions, one with a noun and one with an adjective. Под сосною, under a pine tree, and под зеленою, under a green one, зеленая, is a feminine form for the word green in Russian. So on top of that, we have "Спать положите вы меня." So here we can see how Russian is very playful with its word order sometimes. Because in English we can say "put me to sleep" under there, but in Russian we can say "положите спать" or "спать положите" or "вы меня спать положите." Infinitive can pretty much go into any place, and different meanings will be stressed in that respect. There is also a "ai luli luli" part, which is probably something that gave the song its traditional folk feel, so to say, because it's used widely in all kinds of folk songs, in all kinds of songs that want to look like folk songs as well, like "Vopoli Береза стояла" or many lullabies, actually. If we look at the word itself, luli, it kind of sort of sounds like to lull, and in some languages it may actually have the meaning of moving back and forth. So here again the topic of sleep is maintained, and through that the whole atmosphere is created. Oh, and a quick nerdy note here is that if you look at the word "зеленую", you will find that it actually looks a little bit different from the traditional spelling "зеленой". Here it's spelled like that because we are singing it and we want to add an additional syllable in order to make the songs flow. Just like that, we are put to sleep in the very first verse of the song. You remember that "положите", this form is an imperative, so please do that, or even without please, "положите" or "положи" will show us a certain order or a request. "Положите" will stand for "вы", the respective form, and then "положи" will stand for "ты", something that we can use with a friend or the person that we know very well. Moving on, the verses on this song are actually quite short and usually just revolve around one single idea. The second verse deals with an addressing of a pine tree. What am I even saying? The second verse deals with the different situation where talking to a pine tree, "сосенушка" is a form of "сосна", but again, here it's even more little and more cute. It's almost like we want to hug someone. In Russian, "сосенушка" or the suffix that is used here would usually mean a very strong degree of affection. You already know the word "зеленая", a green one, feminine, right? And then the second line, "не шуми же надо мной", once again has this imperative / request, and you will see that there's a difference between "положите" and "не шуми", in the fact that "положите" is a more respectful form if we are addressing somebody that we respect, or maybe a group of people as well. But here we have just "не шуми", so as if we're talking to a closer friend, right? "Не шуми же". "Же" is a particle that makes the meaning of the previous verb stronger. "Не шуми же". We will actually see this word again in the third verse, and I'll get back to it. After that, "надо мной", once again, we have a prepositional case, предложный падеж, over me, надо мной, and I promised you that we will talk about forms of personal pronoun я. There it is. We have я, we have мной, we have меня, so by the end of this video you probably know them all. Silly me, I did not let you know the meaning of "шуми". "Шуми" is make noise, So не шуми is do not make the noise over me. So I want to sleep. Please don't interrupt this. Interestingly, here again we can see why the song could be considered folk back in the day. Normally in Russian fairy tales and probably many other fairy tales around the world as well, you will find that the nature and forests specifically, because in Russia we have so many forests, is personified and addressed and serves as a certain assistant for the main character. So because this thing is very much traditional and goes back into very ancient times, here it's used and it looks very natural for a folk song as well. In the third verse of the song, the mood is slightly changed, and we're not talking to any pine trees anymore, thankfully. Instead, we are addressing an actual person, красавица, душа, девица. If you look at the word красавица, this is actually a feminine form of красавец, masculine, so красавец and красавица, a beautiful girl. And then if you look at the word девица, it just means girl, but it's more of a traditional form used often in fairy tales. In modern Russian language, we will probably say just девушка. So красавица, девица, красавица. So what should this beautiful girl do? Here again, we have a strong request with the particle же, like the previous time, полюби же ты меня. Полюби basically means fall in love, меня with me. The prefix по shows us the beginning of the action and also the completeness of the action. Like, for instance, позавтракай is eat your breakfast completely, полюби, love me completely. After that, we have another repetition, and if we go back to the first line, душа девица, the word душа is actually quite important in the Russian culture. We still use it quite often in different idiomatic expressions. Like, for instance, if we say сделано с душой, made with soul, душа is soul, of course, we will mean that it's made responsibly and diligently. So it's something of a very high quality. On the other hand, if we say душевный as an adjective, as a feature of something, that will mean that it actually touches our soul. So a film can be душевный, or a song, песня, can be душевная, because in Russian song is feminine. So here you go, and even actually in marketing, we have a big chocolate company whose motto is Россия щедрая душа, which basically means Russia is a generous soul. And that's it. We covered the chorus, all the three verses, and now hopefully you have a clear understanding of the song. Make sure to listen to the song again from the top to work with the material that we covered, to refresh it. Don't forget about the Quizlet cards. We leave them in the description to this video. Feel free to leave your suggestions in the commentary section. We greatly appreciate that as well. Overall, thank you very much for checking out the second episode of Learn Russian Through Song Lyrics. Make sure to visit our website, see our programs, they're very cool. And we will see you in the next one. Thank you.